Long ago, in the castle of a kingdom called Daventry,
Alexander, here you are. Oh, you're still not thinking about Cassima, are you?
I suppose I am.
Son, it's been months. You've got to pull yourself together. After all, you only met her that once.
I know.
Have you discovered anything about the land of the Green Isles?
No. No one's even heard of it. It's like she's just vanished.
I wish I could help. Please try to think about something else, dear.
I'll try, Mother.
Alexander, I feel so alone. I don't know what to do. Alexander, I wish you were here. Alexander.
Cassima, wait! Mother! Mother, come quick!
Alexander, what on earth? You're white as a ghost.
Mother, I saw Cassima. She was in the mirror.
In the mirror? The magic mirror?
Yes! And it showed me how to find her.
How?
The stars! I saw the stars outside her window. I can navigate by the stars.
Oh, Alexander, if you really go...
It will be all right, Mother. I promise.
Alexander sailed the known seas and beyond. As the ship nears the shore, day turns to night and the sea turns violent. Alexander awakens to find himself on an unfamiliar beach. For a moment, he is too dazed to remember how he got here. Then he does remember. The shipwreck, the sea. Just as he had seen his men safely into the lifeboats, a gigantic wave picked him up and tossed him overboard into the churning sea. That was the last he'd seen of his crew. Debris from the shipwreck is scattered along the shore, but of the lifeboats and his men, there is thankfully no trace. He can only hope and pray that the lifeboats survived the currents, and that his men made their way safely back to Daventry.
Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to the land of the Green Isles with King's Quest VI, Heir today, gone tomorrow. I am Rick, joined as always by my co-hosts Suha and David.
Hey!
Hello!
Suha!
It's Suha time!
So before we get started there, Suha, if you could, because Suha is directing the game here, could you change speech at the bottom of the control panel there?
Oh,
to
yes,
both?
thank you.
Beautiful.
Nice. My biggest gripe about our King's Quest V playthrough, and King's Quest V in general, is that you can't see the text and hear the voices at the same time. But thankfully, King's Quest VI alleviates that, so you will get to read, and we will not have another Diana's Bow incident.
Well, we would not,
Bittersweet.
because there are real actors in this one.
There
This
are
is,
real actors and real writing, too. I had completely forgotten that Jane Jensen was one of the writers on this game.
Oh, absolutely. I think that Jane Jensen, like, since she is like a actual like novelist, that she brought a lot of more depth of character to this title as opposed to the earlier entries, which, like, they're still very, very charming, but they don't have the same range as the characters in this one.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
how fucking cool that in the 90s, 2 women wrote this, and then 2 women also directed, in addition to a male director. But, like, I mean, for even now, that I feel like that's rare. But that's even cooler at the time, so I certainly appreciate that.
Yeah, it is extremely badass. King's Quest VI is what I consider to be the pinnacle of the series. Suha, I know that you're partial to King's Quest VII.
I am, but I still would consider this the best just because I think 7 might... It's so hard to choose a favorite between 6 and 7, but I feel like 7 is more like my personal favorite versus what I would consider to be objectively the best one. Because 7 is a big departure, and there's a lot of, specific choices that they made, and it's just a different vibe. But 6, I feel like if you want the King's Quest experience, it's what I would tell anyone to play.
And
I
David,
feel
you
like
think the
that's-
best is 2 because you're a clown, right?
I think that if we're talking about actual like design quality, 6 has the most on offer because it's a very dense game. It's a game that both mechanically and just in terms of production values and presentation is the best the series has to offer. 2 I like for a lot more superficial reasons because it was the first one that I was able to solve completely without hints. And I just had a very, very positive experience with it. But like this is probably as good as the series was able to get.
So, Suha, after 5 King's Quest games of watching me click, how does it feel to be the clicker?
Oh, incredible. Like, I'm not sure if I can handle all this power, to be honest. And I was saying before we started, like, Rick is so good at doing the investigation of, like, can we reload and do this thing differently? I'm very worried that I'm going to, like, fuck that part of it up by just messing up my save files or taking too long. Like, so hopefully...
It is going to be fine.
Well, thank you. Hopefully I'll follow in your footsteps. But yeah, so the cutscene, amazing. But even as a kid, that part with the seagulls, I remember it lingers on the seagulls for so long.
Oh my God.
It
It's
was
worse now.
1992. They were
but-
very proud.
Here's the thing I don't get. What were they proud of? The water, the seagulls, the camera angles? Because, like, the rest of the stuff is very impressive. Like, the seagulls are less so. And even as a kid, I remember being like, Okay, this is the part where we wait for the seagulls to stop.
these static seagulls, as that we just kind of rotate around them. I feel like that a lot of it was just trying to mimic what would be done in movies, where you just have that, free-spirited moment while the music's swelling during the opening credits, but it doesn't really land because, technically they weren't there. I think the intro suffers a lot in hindsight now, just because this is extremely primitive 3D, and if they had just gone with having the painterly video capture sprite work, then that would have held up better over time. But they were excited because computers.
I'd just like to say that you both missed the mark on that completely.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a reference to an earlier King's Quest game.
Ooh. Now
Are
you
you-
need to elaborate, because I'm feeling really dumb right now, Rick. You need to explain how dumb I am exactly.
It was an homage to Crispin walking to the treasure chest.
Ooh.
God damn it! I knew you were doing something there. The only reason I mentioned the fact that I thought this way when I was a kid is just because it was crazy to me. Like, I look at the CG now and I'm like, oh, it's so charming. Like, I don't think it aged poorly at all, because now it's like, it's retro enough that I just love it. But the seagulls,
especially the seagulls.
No, the seagulls is where I draw the line.
Now that you mentioned, though, it is a really weird thing where at the time it was really impressive, and then at some point it just got to be like aged so poorly, but it's been so long that we've kind of come back around to it being charming. Like,
Oh yeah. And I mean, even in indie games and stuff, you see that, like, people are starting to do more old style 3D instead of like people do still do pixel stuff, but we're getting to that point now where we're like, actually, PS1, era nostalgia versus like just the pixels. So, but yeah,
I'd love to see a new PS1 era style RPG, much like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. I wish somebody would make that.
Perhaps somebody will.
I'm looking forward to in 20 years when PS3 360 era is what's nostalgic, and they're just like, well, things are just slightly muddy.
I can tell that Suha is getting anxious and she wants to get started.
Oh, no. I was just going to make this because I'm going to die. And so I just don't want to sit through the whole thing.
I like it.
I'm sorry, because it's the first one.
The ocean is not as calm as it appears.
Obligatory.
Underwater currents tug at Alexander's legs.
Yeah, I bet they do.
The underwater tow is amazingly strong here. It pulls ferociously at Alexander's legs.
Also, that fucking sound
Before
design.
Alexander can retreat, the current grabs his legs. The shifting sand vanishes from beneath his feet. Against his best efforts, he is dragged out to sea.
Like, that's fucking scary.
The currents around the
See ya.
island pull Alexander under.
Here's
As
your crown,
Alexander
king.
struggles to the surface for the third and last time, he finds himself wishing he'd paid more attention to the warning signs of an undertow.
And 15 minutes in, we've got our first skeletons.
Tickets
Oh, this is. I feel like these are the winners for Casey. Let's do.
Yes.
Nothing like getting swept off your feet.
Oh, we have peak smugness and puns here.
Yes. I would like to share a couple of childhood memories about this before we get started.
Please.
First and foremost, King's Quest VI was the first computer game that I ever played. I was 5 years old, and I used to always watch my dad play these games, like I've said before. Like, my mom and dad used to, and my brother used to, sit at the computer and play them all together, and as I was growing up, I watched a lot of them, and I had watched my dad play King's Quest V and watched him play King's Quest VI, and then he let me play it myself, and I just will never forget playing this game and being able to control Alexander and walking 3 screens and then not knowing what to do. But I was in first grade. And we had, you always had those days when the teacher would just bring the screen in and everybody's excited because you get to watch a show or a movie or something. And this is the dumbest thing. I can't believe that I'm actually telling this story.
Please.
We were going to watch a movie, and the movie was a version of Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And my teacher said that we were going to watch Alexander, and I thought that she meant that we were going to watch somebody play King's Quest 6.
Oh my
And when
God.
I realized that it wasn't, I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool if people just recorded King's Quest 6 and played it on video? And now here I am.
Wow, ahead of your time.
30 fucking
visionary.
years later, and I'm making it happen.
That is so cute. Oh my God. I'll
That's
tell
the
you.
stupidest story. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I honestly love it. I'll tell you my earliest King's Quest 6 memory. Before we bought it, I played it at my dad's friend's house, and I specifically remember being at the Isle of Wonder and trying to deal with the Guardians and failing horribly. And then at some point, I don't remember when we bought it. I just remember playing it there, and then at some point we had it and we loved it, and that was it.
David, you didn't play it until much later, right?
Like, my first King's Quest experience was actually 7. Like,
Oh my
the
God.
the very first, like, Sierra, like, games I played was, like, Space Quest 4 and Echo Quest, which we got in the big boxes. But, like, a lot of the other mainline series, I didn't really get until we got, like, a bundle that had Space Quest 6 in it. It had Quest for Glory 4 in it and King's Quest 7 in it, in that particular set. And so it wasn't until I bought the full big box set of King's Quest collection that I got to really experience the breadth of the series.
And that's awesome. When was that?
When did I get the King's Quest 7?
Yeah.
I want to say it was like 97 or something like that. I
Okay.
had a lot of the adventure games I bought with my own money were just like, we went to like this store that sold like reclaimed products, and there's just like a lot of stuff that failed to sell. So like I got into adventure games largely because I got a bunch of them for cheap. That is what it amounted to.
That's amazing, honestly. So you were a kid. Like, yeah, you were
Yeah.
not like 6 or whatever, but you were still a kid. It was not.
I was like tweenish when I really got into adventure games.
Yeah. Okay. I
Well,
love it.
I've known you since we were 13, and at that point, you already knew the games for the most
Yeah.
part. So
I got it. I needed to do it fast. I was not messing around.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get to clicking. We're gonna listen. So excited. We're starting. All right, let's look at the ship.
The remains of Alexander's sailing ship lie dashed upon the distant shore.
I love that the game went out of its way to be like, Noble Alexander helped everybody into lifeboats, and then when the last guy was in, he was like, what? And they're all gone, so don't worry, they probably didn't die, it's just him.
They are probably alive.
Alexander is standing on a beach littered with debris from his shipwreck. A path leads north into the lush green island. An occasional breeze rustles the nearby foliage. The island is covered with lush green plants. Rocks abound on this lush volcanic isle.
I always wanted to go here, I remember as a kid, and you just can't.
Broken pieces of Alexander's ship litter the beach. The ocean appears calm, but there's a dimpling pattern to the surface which indicates an undertow. A long plank lies on the beach. No doubt it once belonged to Alexander's ship. Alexander's royal insignia ring lies abandoned on the sand. It must have slipped from his finger during the shipwreck. Fortunately, it was not lost in the sea. Alexander searches for a way to reach the black-haired girl whose memory will not escape him. Alexander feels his pockets carefully to
that.
make sure he hasn't lost anything.
This always
before you
comes up
pick
here.
that up, can you check your inventory?
Yeah.
Alexander is carrying nothing.
Oh my god.
Alexander is carrying nothing.
What? Why did
Alexander is carrying nothing.
they must have forgotten to record it and patched it together at the end? I mean, it sounds
Yes.
horrendous.
Alexander
I mean,
is carrying
the
nothing.
intention might have been at some point to have them like manually list off audibly every single thing you're carrying.
Yeah.
That's another ritual of mine. Every time that I play King's Quest 6, I have to click on the empty inventory at least once.
Thank you for telling me, because I've never ever done that. And like, I mean, why did they leave the fucking click in the end there?
Alexander is carrying nothing.
Nothing. Click.
Alexander picks up his royal insignia ring from the beach.
Oh, we got our first bada-ding.
Beautiful.
Alexander is already wearing his ring. Alexander's ring is made of the purest gold and has the insignia of the royal family of Daventry on its face.
Now, Alexander has been a prince officially for what?
Like
A
2
year
weeks, maybe?
or 2 weeks? Actually, no, it's been months. It's been months. He says it's been months. So, and I think in 5, he had been a prince now for a week, maybe a couple weeks. So
I don't know.
The timeline's not exactly clear, but it's clear that, in 3, he came rescue Daventry single-handedly, and
No thanks to Graham.
then Graham immediately has a heart attack, and then pretty shortly after that, ambiguously how long, he and the whole castle and the rest of the family, sans dad, get abducted, and then he meets this girl, and he's been pining over her for some time now.
she says, "Son, it's been months." So we know that it's been months. Which, let me tell you, not talking along with that intro was tough.
Mother, come quick.
God damn it, what was I going to say? Oh, right, okay, so whatever. Anyway, I'm sure it'll come to me if it's bored.
Alexander pushes the plank to one side.
I used to do this all the time.
A box has been partially buried under sand. Alexander
move it back.
moves the plank back to its original position.
For no reason. There's no reason to do this.
Alexander pushes the plank to one
You wanted
side.
to see the animation.
A box has...
Oh shit, no. Oh no. Oh wait, good, okay.
What?
I wanted to look at it.
Alexander's treasure box lies partially buried in the sand. It must have washed ashore with the other ship debris.
See, I'm not Rick. I don't know how to do this yet. I'm still getting used to it.
Oh, you're fine.
The box must have opened in the sea, spilling its treasure. Everything has been washed away, except for one coin of Daventry.
That is a tiny little coin.
Yeah, Daventry's coinage is already very devalued because they've got that chest that just reproduces coins ad nauseum.
There's nothing.
Alexander
takes the coin and leaves the ruined box.
Yeah,
where
I think
it
the
is.
hotspot is at the very tip of the pointer finger.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Alexander
See, I'm
moves
just
the plank
excited
back
because
to
I
its
can
original
watch the
position.
adventure game go, and I'm not clicking on anything. I can take a drink. I can do a crossword puzzle. This is wonderful.
I love that for you.
Alexander
I wanted to
has
clarify
no
for
taste
the audience and my
saltwater.
own edification. There's a few slight variations on this game, and we wanted to play the version that was Tusuha's maximum nostalgia. So was this the Windows high res version, or the one prior to that, or which iteration?
Alexander
are we
promises himself
Oh,
that
sorry,
he will
David.
not go home until he has determined what Cassima's feelings are for him, and if she needs his help.
So
Sorry.
this particular version is the DOS version, and you can tell because of the full color cursors. The Windows version had just black and white Windows icons for cursors. However, in ScumVM, you can enable the high-resolution 640 by 480 character portraits, which were exclusive to the Windows version. So we're playing an amalgamation of both, the best of both worlds, as it were.
Very good.
Oh, cute. Look at that. Bing, 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 bing. All of them get something except the speech bubble just kind of gets a little bit, it pushes out, and then the finger kind of moves up and down. I feel like they could have done a little more there. Oh my god!
And you thought you weren't good at the science. Look at you.
They
I'm
could have
trying
put
to
a
ask
little
myself what Rick
a
would
question mark in there, or an exclamation mark, or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna make I'm just gonna call it let's see. Kicking the door in, and we're gonna just go right up to the castle.
We're on the second screen. You've saved 3 times. I'm so
Listen.
proud.
Oh my god, wait, I'm so sorry. See, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. I need fucking...
Rocks abound in this lush volcano.
When you've played this so many times, like, that's the thing that's hard about it. I want to, like, explore, and instead I'm like, nope, time to go do it. Like, no.
A hollow in the trunk of the old tree forms a perfect nesting place for wildlife. Alexander examines the tree's hollow, but finds nothing of interest.
What? No, like, priceless
A grand
amethyst,
old
like, necklace?
tree
No
stretches
sapphire
its
jewels?
luxurious
Nothing?
limbs out over the crossroads.
Those most offensive words, nothing of
Rocks
interest.
abound. Alexander has no need to carry around large rocks.
Wow, narrator really.
The large ferns would be of little use to Alexander. Large leafy ferns spread their fronds across the fertile ground.
I mean, this game gives you the text and you get the crown, so there's so much to
Alexander
do.
is standing at a crossroads. To the left, he can see a village. To the right, a castle. From the south come the sounds of the sea.
See, my impulse was to save because I did all that, but there's nothing to save. Like, there's no progress. I always loved this stupid
There's a
fucking
little
hut.
hut just off the path. Perhaps the guard dogs have an occasional use for it, but it looks empty now.
I mean, what is the practical purpose of this hut, do you suppose?
To change your clothes.
I mean, that's what it is for us, but like for the guards, do they need to change their clothes?
They're dogs. Maybe that's where they take their 15-minute break. Like, it's like a doghouse.
The castle
Maybe.
appears to be of Moorish architecture.
Moorish architecture,
its
huh?
marbled walls and delicate inlaid mosaics are unlike anything Alexander has ever experienced before. His own home, though lovely and dear to his heart, seems rough-hewn compared to this delicate beauty.
I'm just having the realization right now that Cassima is supposed to be, air quotes, Moorish. Because she's from here, and everybody... I mean, we've never met... We don't really see her parents very much, but her name is Cassima, and this... well... whatever. I suppose it's slightly more positive representation than,
there has
people
been
were about to meet.
much
but,
worse.
Yeah.
Two guards take their stance in front of the castle doors. They look quite fierce and have the stiff, blank expression of soldiers on formal duty. The guards of the castle gate look like efficient fighters, and there are doubtless more of them inside. Alexander decides not to try to force his way in. The castle doors are firmly shut and bolted. Formal hedges and bushes provide dramatic landscaping for the castle.
Ooh, dramatic
Formal
landscaping.
The castle
Okay, I feel like that's about
rocks
everything. I guess it won't matter if I just walk.
Excuse me, I'm the prince.
No strangers may enter the castle of the crown.
Alright, let's try talking.
Alexander politely addresses the odd-looking guards at the castle doors.
See, there's that judgment.
Hoping to learn more about his predicament.
Good day to you, guards. I was cast upon this island in a storm, and I'm a little confused about my location. Could you tell me what place this is and who lives in this castle?
Hey, what is that you say? A castaway? A likely story. We haven't had any foreigners in this part since Alhazred arrived.
Don't be so rude, Gruff. He's not asking for any secrets. You're standing on the Isle of the Crown, lad, and this is the Castle of the Crown. The royal family resides here. Rather, what's left of the royal family.
The Isle of the Crown? But tell me, am I anywhere near the land of the Green Isles?
This is the land of the Green Isles. The Isle of the Crown is the main island, foolish boy.
You
Then
imbecile.
Princess Cassima must live in this very castle.
Aye, the princess is indeed our treasured jewel to God, and we consider it an honor.
Okay. Well, let me try talking a little bit more first.
Excuse me, guardsmen. Guard dogs. I've been traveling for months to see Princess Cassima. I would like an audience, please.
I'm sorry, but the princess is not receiving visitors, particularly not strangers.
Just ask her. She'll tell you who I
I
am.
really must see the princess. Could I speak with someone in charge?
Who are you that I should bother Captain Saladin, huh?
My name is Alexander. I am a prince of Daventry and a friend of the princess.
A prince, is it? I see. Yeah, and I am lord of this dusty path. Step aside. You'll not be getting into this castle without some proof of your claims.
I mean, you are lord of this dusty path,
I
really.
assure you, I am Prince Alexander of Daventry.
And I assure you that you'll not get past me without proof.
Without. Okay.
I assure...
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if the coin... What he'll say if I give him a coin.
Would you like a
As
bribe?
proof of my country, I have this coin. It bears a Daventry mint.
A beggar can own such a coin as well as a prince. This proves nothing.
But the image on the coin's face is that of my father, the king.
Really? Then you must take after your mother. I see no resemblance.
I wish so badly we could see the other side of that Daventry coin so we could see Graham's face.
Yeah, really.
Alexander decides to try his royal insignia ring on the guards. With all of his papers lost in the shipwreck, it is the only possible proof of his identity that he can think of.
Perhaps this ring will convince you of my identity. It is the royal insignia ring of Daventry.
Ha! I'm sure. Just let me take a look at that ring.
Well, I'm sorry, Your Highness. It's just that princes are so uncommon in these parts. Let me get Captain Saladin.
I love Captain Saladin, but the Arab in me is like, man, you named a dog after a historical figure. It's just,
Yeah.
Culturally kind of rude.
The guard returns a moment later with a majestic-looking creature. Captain Saladin speaks with a voice that is gentle, but reflects a will of iron.
Prince Alexander of Daventry, I presume.
My God,
I'm afraid
that
I'm
voice.
unfamiliar with your country, but I'm sure Vizier Al-Hazred will want to meet you, if indeed you are a friend of the princess. Please follow me.
Now, was this Tony J?
Yes.
I mean,
He's got a couple different roles in the game.
Actors with an O.
Lord
I mean, it's all
Al-Hazred, a visitor to see you. Prince Alexander of Daventry.
What is it that you seek, Prince Alexander?
Pardon the intrusion, my lord, but I came to see Princess Cassima. Some months ago, my father, King Graham, saved my family and I from imprisonment under an evil wizard named Mordak.
My family and
The
me.
same wizard that kidnapped the princess?
Exactly. When my father rescued us, he also liberated Cassima and sent her home.
Then your father has my gratitude, and that of the entire kingdom. But I'm afraid I still fail to see the purpose of your visit.
Well, I came to make sure that Cassima arrived safely and to pay my respects. Before we parted, she gave me an invitation to visit.
I have no doubt she did exactly that at the time, Prince Alexander. However, things have greatly changed for Cassima since her ordeal in Mordak's castle. Cassima's parents both became ill and died while she was gone. Cassima is sequestered in mourning for them as befits a princess. She is not receiving visitors of any kind. Even if she were, I do not think your visit would be appropriate. You see, it is time for Cassima to take her responsibilities seriously. With her parents gone, she no longer has the luxury to be a carefree maiden. As was her parents' wish, Cassima and I are to be wed. We shall rule the kingdom together. I assure you, our marriage is all Cassima wants now. As a prince and a gentleman, it would be best that you leave before there is any further embarrassment.
I see. I suppose that I was mistaken. I thought for certain that Cassima... Well, I apologize.
A young man sees what he wishes to see. I'm sorry you've wasted your time traveling to the land of the Green Isles. May your journey home be swift.
Perhaps I will take the opportunity to look around your fair land while I'm here.
I would advise against that. The kingdom is rather, shall we say, inhospitable these days. But it is your neck. You may risk it if you please. Captain Saladin will escort you from the castle. Good day.
You have had your hearing with Vizier Alhazred. I trust you'll respect his wishes and not return. I have been instructed not to let you into the castle again. Good day, my lord.
So
Captain
polite.
Saladin whispers something to the guard dogs at the castle gate, and they nod with understanding.
I just want to hear him talk forever. What a voice.
Come back, Tony.
I know.
Alexander has a feeling they won't be letting him into the castle again.
Okay, now question.
Now here...
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Suha.
Do I need to keep this file for points purposes? Because I prefer to go the other way. I don't like doing this.
You get points for doing this, and like the branching point for the short and the long path is much further ahead. So if you want the points, you'll have to have done this.
Like, if I want full points, I have to do this.
I mean, you can do this later if you want to, like, do the ring before talking to him, but I do think
Oh,
you
you can? So, okay, so I can...
I forget what triggers the bird to appear, so you might want to check to see if it's there now or if it's something else that triggers the bird.
So that's what I was going to say, is that this is the first example of some of the interesting, like, different states that occur throughout King's Quest VI. Because if you introduce yourself to him, then he knows about you, and in later cutscenes, they reference you directly. But
Yes.
if you do not introduce yourself to him, then in those same cutscenes, there'll be different dialogue where they refer to you as a stranger.
I just really like
We
not...
are under orders not to let you anywhere near the castle, Prince Alexander. Be gone!
I like not giving myself away. I like it being a surprise. Like, yes, they find out later anyway, but...
Please,
Oh.
if you'll only be reasonable. I really must see the princess.
Be gone! You're not welcome at the castle, Prince Alexander of Daventry. We have our orders, and they are quite clear.
I mean, I am Prince Alexander of Daventry. Like, he says it so
You don't
mockingly,
need to
but,
be
like,
mocking.
we've established that's real, and that's who I am. And your fucking captain respects me, okay? He called me my lord. Like, you can be a little bit respectful.
Please.
Okay. Sorry, anyway, so, basically, I was going to
For
keep
our-
2 files,
like-
but...
Yeah, if you want to, for RP purposes, do it later, I think that's advisable, but it's up to you.
Alright, I'm sorry, viewers, if this, if this ends up taking too long, but I don't like giving myself away. And I find it
Also-
very much funnier. Oh, sorry?
What's the consensus on Alexander's sprite above his shoes? Is that just the tops of his boots?
I thought they
Those
were.
lines?
Oh, do you think they're socks? I think they're boots.
I've always thought they were socks, and I want them to just be big striped socks over his pants.
I interpret them as boots, but I think it's funny to imagine stripy socks.
I've always thought they were socks, and I cannot see otherwise.
I mean,
Anyway, continue.
It like looking at it that way does give Alexander a much more dopey vibe,
Yeah, it
which
does.
is fitting.
I just feel like if you look at God damn it. Because I started laughing because if you look at it as like him wearing just short pants, he looks fucking stupid.
He's wearing capris.
No, they are definitely boots, but I could see why you would think that they are striped socks. And he just gets, like you said, significantly goofier if you think that he's wearing shorts.
Also, in the scene in the throne room, like I appreciate Saladin just having his like sword half drawn for the entire conversation. He's ready to
Yes.
throw down if Alexander,
Alex,
does anything.
He does his job. Oh, nostalgia.
Alexander is standing on a sunny village street. There are open shops to his right, a hard-packed path beneath his feet, and palm trees waving over his head. To the north, a key-shaped arch leads to another part of the village. The sign says pawn shop. The pawn shop window has the words curios and antiques painted on it. What an interesting looking shop. Odd gourd-shaped jugs rest sheltered by the shade. They perhaps hold wine or water to be kept cool. There's a battered wicker chest in front of a shop.
It's fun clicking on stuff
Old
that...
lamps for new! Old lamps for new!
It's a really amazing sprite, honestly. Like, he looks like a real
A
guy.
large round pot is one of the pottery pieces on display outside the shops.
Odds are it was actual, digitized photography.
Yeah.
Alexander examines the large pot. It's currently empty, but a few scraps in the bottom indicate that it is used as a dump site on occasion.
I love that description because
There's a
it tells you that there's
battered
nothing there, but it says it in such a way that you keep in mind that there might be something there later.
Yes.
Yeah.
The battered chest does not interest Alexander. It's probably full of plain earthenware. Alexander isn't interested in the gourd-shaped jugs.
He could have just said the jugs.
Alexander can enter the building.
Sorry, by using the shop
lamps
store.
for new! Old
But that's the
lamps
thing,
for
Suha.
new!
Alexander is interested in the jugs. That's why we're here.
Alexander will have to deal with the lamp seller if he wants
took me
to
a minute
obtain
to-
one of those new lamps.
Also, can we talk about that conversation? How, when Alexander's like, well, I'm
Old
here
lamps
because...
for new!
God damn it. Sorry. I'm here because we met, and I thought that maybe me and her... And then he says to save you from embarrassed. Like, it just... Oh, I love the awkwardness. I feel like that was lost on me when I was younger, and I never liked to do that cutscene anyway, because I didn't like him knowing I was here, so I just appreciate it more now.
Sorry, Alexander. She is my girlfriend. You can't have her.
Would you accept this in exchange for one of your lamps, peddler?
I am only interested in old lamps, son. Sorry.
Cash? No use for it!
Good day, peddler.
Good day, sir. If you would like to get one of my fine new lamps, I'll need an old lamp in trade.
Isn't it a rather bad business? Taking old lamps and giving new lamps in exchange?
Well, there's always a chance that I'll find a genie. If I had a genie, I'd be richer than a king. Besides, there's always a roaring business in antique luminaries.
Is there a roaring
Really getting
business?
the mileage out of Tony J here.
Lad,
What'd you say?
have you an old lamp for me yet?
Really getting the mileage out of Tony J here.
That's him too?
Why not?
That's him too.
Oh my god. I mean, but yeah, why
How
not?
very...
Hey, lad.
Okay. Oh,
The woman seems preoccupied with her chores and doesn't notice Alexander.
He has 4 parts in this game.
The villagers bustle about their chores. They seem a busy, if somewhat subdued lot.
subdued, huh?
An old beggar is peddling his wares in the village. He offers a variety of lamps, all neatly lined up on a long pole.
The
Windows
peddler
face the
feels like
street
somebody
from
who would
living
be
quarters
addicted
above
to
the
Lotto
bookstore.
scratch 'em tickets if those were a thing here.
Alexander,
That's basically what he's doing, isn't it?
the dusty
Yeah, he's
window of the
he wants
bookshop
old lamps because he
looks
wants
out
to
over
get
the
that one
street
in a million
welcoming
shot at a
way.
genie.
Yeah.
The sign above the door says Ali's Books. Alexander is standing on windows
Do you
face the
suppose
street
the
from living quarters
villagers
above
in
the
the
bookstore.
second story are
Alexander
related
is
to the
standing on a sunny
bookkeeper?
I don't know.
A pair of red pants has been hung out to dry in the warm glow of the sun.
Now, see, I've never clicked on those, but I feel like the narrator talking about
Alexander
it.
can't reach those pants. Besides, they probably wouldn't fit him, nor go with his green tunic.
It would make me think that they're important because the narrator talked about
Palm trees as graceful as gazelles wave in the warm tropical breeze.
it. All right, here we go.
I never realized just how many hotspots there were.
I know, because I never bothered with stuff
A
that didn't
key-shaped
matter.
archway provides access to another part of the village.
So part of this is
The
just
village
figuring out,
buildings
like,
are made of rough sandstone stucco. This one has a shop on the street level and a private dwelling up above. Steps lead up to the shop door.
just figuring
I don't
out, like,
know-
what counts. Oh, sorry?
I was wondering, like, I don't know how much to credit, like, Jane
Oh,
Jensen
lamp!
for the amount of ambient, like, interactions. I know that, like, some designers at Sierra really love doing the interactions, others hated them. But in, like, the Gabriel Knight games that Jane Jensen was in charge of, they're not
The
really
village-
that heavy in terms of, like, descriptions.
Old lamp!
The village build. The village.
I just want to see if I can interact with whatever that...
Alexander.
Alright.
Good day.
Yes, legend! Dave Fennoy.
Good day, merchant. Can you tell me what land this is?
By the moon's light, what a question. You must have been out too long in the sun, or perhaps knocked your head upon a rock.
No. Well,
Well, I did.
perhaps. I was in a shipwreck, you see. My crew and I were trying to reach the land of the Green Isles. I think, well, at least I hope, my men got away safely in the lifeboats. But I myself appear to be rather stuck here.
Ah, I see. You must pardon my incredulity, but it has been so long since we have had a foreign visitor. You wrecked your ship, young traveler, due to the currents and reefs around the islands. If your crew was wise enough to steer clear of the isles and head home, they should be fine. In any case, you have met your objective, however bumpy the journey.
You mean, this is the land of the Green Isles? Oh, thank the heavens! I had followed the stars, you see, and I thought I was close, but...
The stars? You must be quite a sailor. But what is the purpose of your visit?
I come for... Well, I mean, I hope to see... I met some time ago.
Oh my god.
Say no more. You are smitten with a maiden, are you not? What other than love could so confuse a man's tongue?
I'm afraid so. It is Princess Cassima.
By the
His
desert
reaction.
sands, when you fall in love, you do not mess around, do you?
Is she here?
This is the Isle of the Crown, young man. The castle of the Crown stands on the hill. If it is Cassima you seek, that is where to look.
The Castle of the Crown. Thank you, merchant.
And good luck to you, lad. You shall need it.
I love that conversation. I just love
I've
the pawn shop
always
owner.
loved his reaction. When you fall in love, you do not mess around.
I also want to, like, further follow up on the whole, like, Alexander navigating by the stars, because he saw, like, that image of Cassima at the balcony for, like, 5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd also like to know how he became such a sailor.
Yes, I was wondering that too.
Like, he didn't do any of it for, like, his first 18 years because he was stuck in Manannan's castle.
Yeah.
And, like, after that, he was in Daventry and, like,
Well, he was
spent
on a
some time
pirate
stuck in a
ship
glass
for-
jar.
He was on a pirate ship for a half an hour, Rick.
Yes, but we saw that. We witnessed that back in King's Quest 3, Part 3? Part 4? Anyway, all he knows how to do is stand around on a ship until it hits land. That's it.
Well,
It
he
was
was in
daytime the whole
Mordek's
time.
castle. Like, maybe he observed some things, he read some books, and then when he was sailing for 3 months. So maybe it took him 3 months to learn how to navigate using the stars on the ship. And then they made it.
Could be.
So, if I was going to, like, retcon this as, a fanfic writer or whatever, I would just say, like, he had the opportunity while in Manannan's tutelage, let's say, to use his telescope and, like, study some books when Manannan's not looking.
Yeah, okay,
to get
I like
familiar with it.
Fine.
But imagine meeting a girl for a minute and then spending 3 months sailing to get there to find out if she even likes you, or if she was more like, thinking about the
Also-
one person that she met who could maybe save her some. I don't even know what the thought was there with her.
I also still think it's funny. It's funny that the shopkeep here is basically like, well, I hope your crew was wise enough to turn around and go home in their little dinky lifeboats.
For 3 months. For 3 months.
A strange-looking winged device occupies one corner of the room. It is frail with disuse. Alexander finds it intriguing. Perhaps he thinks it was once used in a local sporting event, in which enthusiasts jumped from cliffs, glided on air currents, and then attempted to land, frequently crunching a bone or two in the process. Alexander shudders at the thought and decides to stick to dragon slaying.
Enthusiasts. But also, like, that's a lot of presumption.
Yeah. You talk to the world-famous talking bear.
Oh, yeah.
Towering mightily over the other pawn shop curiosities, the stuffed bear makes an ostentatious display. The world-famous talking bear has been sulking ever since his abduction from a small mountain community in California. He refuses to discuss real estate.
That used to confuse me so much, and it still does.
It is a very niche Easter egg referencing just the community of Oakhurst, because like there's a attraction there where there's like a mechanical talking bear tourist trap attraction, and there's a lot of Sierra games that reference it and make fun of it, and there was even like one tiny little program that just its entire point they included with some of their software was just to make fun of that whole attraction.
Yeah, I think that the real estate office that was nearby their headquarters, the talking bear was in front of it. Doing a quick little Google search, it's in front of a Century 21 real estate office today. I don't know if there was actually a case where it was stolen, but I wouldn't be surprised. And like David said, it's a recurring gag.
Does it look like this, with its paws up like that?
The one that they depict in the like standalone program they made it's on all four legs, but I think this is more so like it's more interesting visually for this scene.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Also, I think the abduction just mentioning like, oh, it's no longer in California; it is in the Green Isles right now.
I see.
Been sulking ever since his. The stuffed bear probably has stuffed fleas. Alexander decides to keep his distance.
Well, if they're stuffed, they're not gonna do anything to you.
The pawn shop is a dimly lit place with a slightly musty smell. Curiosities litter every corner and every shelf. For sale are articles that range from the bizarre to the commonplace, from the priceless to the practical. The pawn shop.
I just look at the axe. All right.
The back wall of
Look
the
at
shop
the hatchet on the
holds
ground,
various
too.
odds and ends.
Okay.
For example, a hole detector for finding those hard-to-spot holes in small sailboats.
Cute.
Cat cookie mix. Play tricks on your friends, the box says.
I remember that one.
A golden bridle finder for finding those nearly invisible golden bridles. Self-adhesive emeralds, what you use when you don't have honey. Tongue climbing gear.
Oh my god.
Tested on over 100 whale tongues.
I didn't know about any of this.
A uvula tickler, guaranteed to make large mammals sneeze.
I hadn't played the old games back when I did this, so I'm like, the only one I remembered was cat
A
cookie mix.
cheese hook for retrieving cheese out of small holes. A shovel that's guaranteed not to break for over 100 grave diggings.
That's 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
A bridge repair kit for when you've crossed a bridge one too many times. Stair traction pads. Stop slipping off those narrow staircases.
This is fucking
A
cute.
hole
Incredible.
The pawn shop.
You said I could do it on the floor for this?
The hatchet on the floor.
Yeah.
The pawn.
I think it's a little to the left.
Yeah.
The pawn.
Oh,
The pawn.
here?
No,
The pawn.
doesn't seem like
A
it's a hot
small
spot.
rusty hatchet seems
Oh.
permanently embedded in a log of wood. Alexander's mind races over the possibilities. Perhaps the bound duo is the local woodcutter's equivalent of the sword and the stone. Perhaps someday, somehow, someone will free that hatchet and become king of the forest.
Now see, this
Then
is
again, it could be just a rusty hatchet stuck in a log.
this is how and why Alexander fell in love with Cassima for 2 seconds, because it was they made eye contact. I think he tried to kiss her hand, maybe. I'm not fully certain if he just took it or if he kissed her hand, and then he could visit her and they could get married. and he would be king of the Green Isles. And, like...
Alexander takes one look at something and extrapolates an entire life story from it.
Yeah.
A small red drum.
It's definitely
beats
going
no
for
more on the
fairy
shelves of the
tale
pawn shop.
vibes.
Oops.
Alexander's musical abilities have always leaned more towards wind instruments.
Now, always, your sister was a princess. Your sister had the time and the ability to, sit and practice instruments. What instruments were you practicing, sir? When? I just want to know. I'm sorry.
Alexander will know his future soon enough if he just keeps on with his adventure. It wouldn't be fair.
I'm gonna just imagine Manannan as one of those tiger moms who's just like, you're gonna learn piano and you're going to do this family proud. And then after he wasn't able to learn anything that Manannan considered a real instrument, then he's just like, you're just worthless. You're just like, just go back to the scullery, boy. You're useless.
I mean, he would probably make Alexander try to play for his amusement, but I feel like he wouldn't. I don't know. He wouldn't want to sit and listen to while he got better.
The land of the Green Isles must have at least one inhabitant with interest in the mystical, for a crystal ball has been traded in, along with the more common household goods. A lady's hand mirror has been
a skeleton
separated from its original trousseau,
skeleton,
and now gathers dust on the pawn shop shelves. An old suit of armor stands in the pawn shop. It looks like a vigilant guard against thieves and carpet salesmen, even though it is headless. A worn leather wineskin is suspended from the ceiling.
It's nice.
A tall skeleton lends an air of mystery to the shop.
Being able to know what things are, as opposed to the old King's Quest where you'd look and be like, look, what is it? What is that thing? This just tells you what it is.
A helmet, probably belonging to the headless armor also in the shop, has found its way to a separate part of the counter.
This is all unnecessary.
Several half-burnt
nice.
wax candles have been placed among the other pawn shop items. They probably light the shop at night.
There's a lot of texture.
Bowl/basin/ whatever it was on top of the dresser in King's Quest 3.
The back wall of the shop holds various bottles and potions. For example, a bottle labeled Owl Courage Potion for spineless owls.
Leave him alone.
A bottle of Gnome Begone. Miniature carpet cleaner for those castles in a bottle. Bird's nest soup mix, treasure not included.
Oh, okay, I see.
Garlic, especially grown for vampire resilience. Magic mirror glass cleaner for when your future looks fuzzy. Shark repellent. A small box of enchanted sorcerer's flea and tick collars. A bottle of gnome.
All right.
Cat cook.
I feel like I've...
The pawn shop. A
Probably
few
gotten...
well-aged barrels probably hold assorted smaller goods and perishables.
Do you suppose that the artist rendered this scene and then the writers filled it in, or do you suppose it was the other way around where the artist had to adapt to all the nonsense that the writers came up with?
God, I don't know actually, because if I were doing it now, I certainly would probably say, hey, fill it with curios and include these key items, but I don't know how they would have done it.
The pawn shop.
It makes more sense that they would probably just... I doubt the writers designed every single item. I mean, maybe they did, but it makes more sense that they chose
seems to me. Yeah, it seems to me like it would have made a lot of sense if they just looked at the art or the sketch and then drew it off of there.
The pawn shop owner is a mysterious fellow. His face is old and inscrutable, and there's a glint of sheer iron in his gaze. Still, Alexander senses this is someone he can trust.
See, I don't get that at all. I get very friendly but principled versus hard and mysterious but also trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
But they probably wrote it before they did all the lines and the artwork, so...
An elegant little glass dish decorates the countertop. The dish is full of green mints offered for the enjoyment of the customer. If Alexander wants anything from the pawn shop, Alexander takes a mint.
Sorry, I'm trying to think of how to proceed. I'll just...
I mean, you could try to... you can try to
A small
just
green mint
buy
looks
a
very
item from the
tasty.
shop here, see if that triggers the bird or not.
The mint might melt if Alexander held it too tightly.
I think that
That
mint is
object-
where I got my love of peppermint from.
I love the little M. I've always loved this.
Alexander eats the mint. Not bad. A little stale, perhaps. Alexander takes a mint.
I took a mint.
Help yourself. That is what they're there for.
I
just can't stand halitosis.
Good day, merchant.
Suha, I appreciate your
What
crown
can you
game.
tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
It's
I
vital.
can tell you she is in a dark time. Without the ferry, communication between the islands has ground to a halt, and so nearly has my business. Why the long ages of peace have ended, and why the crown has not done something about it is beyond me. But then, I am a shopkeeper, not a politician, and can only hope for better days.
How bide you, good merchant?
Quite well, though a purchase would not hurt me any.
How bide you?
Quite.
The pawnshop owner doesn't look like a man to be tussled with. The curiosities business is just dangerous enough to require one to develop one's boxing skills. Alexander takes a closer look at the items on the counter.
I see you have noticed my mechanical nightingale. She is made of plain tin, but she sings the sweetest song you can imagine, barely distinguishable from the real thing. The flute is only made of plain wood, but its notes are fine and true. Ah, yes, the painter's brush. It was well used by one of the island's best painters. There's a lot of creativity in that brush, and its bristles are still in good condition. Have you an interest in tinder boxes? This one is only slightly battered. It holds a good supply of flint, a sturdy striking pad, and even a candle in case you find yourself with naught else to hold the flame.
I'm interested in that mechanical nightingale on the counter.
What do you desire to give me in trade? The items on the front counter are all of equally slight value, worth only a copper or two. They are handy items nonetheless.
The counter does not counter.
Oh my god.
Alexander...
I'm in...
What?
I have this copper coin. Is it of any value to you at all?
Most interesting. I have never seen a Daventry coin before, but it is copper genuine enough. I might even find a buyer who is interested in foreign currency. The items on the front counter are the only things in the store that I can let go for the price of 1 copper. You may make your choice from there.
Alexander looks at the items on the counter to make his selection.
That mechanical nightingale looks intriguing. I believe I'll take it.
Very well. Your coin is well spent. Remember, this is a pawn shop. I am always willing to take back my own goods in trade.
I'll remember. Thank you.
I'm basically like an inventory library.
The mechanical nightingale's hard tin body doesn't feel anything like a real bird's soft feathers. The mechanical nightingale is made of tin painted dreary shades of brown to match the coloring of a real nightingale. A small key emerges from its back. That object had... If Alexander winds the mechanical nightingale and listens to its sweet, sunny tune.
I always thought it was a sweet tinny tune. I completely misremembered that. Wow, it's hard to hear that without hearing the gnomes following afterward.
We'll get there.
So, for the viewers at home, it's possible to, if you did not complete the pixel hunt to find the coin, to use your ring instead as the currency with the pawn shop owner. And it's a little bit more sad.
There's no...
Wait, really? Hold on a minute, because I thought I needed it for something else. Oops.
I mean, you do need it for something else, but like, the game kind of hints at like,
Can you
this is
tell
a
me,
little
merchant,
too valuable.
what the value of this ring might be?
By the sands of the sea, what a beauty! What fine gold and masterful artistry! This ring is quite valuable, sir. I would not feel right taking it in trade. None of the items on display in my humble store are even close to the value of this ring.
Truly? Well, it would be hard to part with it anyway, I suppose.
Can you try it again?
Okay.
Are you sure you have nothing of value for which I can trade this ring?
No, I cannot think of anything. I have a few unusual treasures that are not on display, but I doubt that you would have any interest in such things.
The pawn. Alexander.
I'm in.
What the?
Are you sure you have...
No.
You're sure?
I'm probably misremembering. We've got the evidence right in front of us.
Okay. Oh wait, God. You know, I never liked going in here. I hope maybe I feel differently, but I always felt... Shut up. Sorry. I always felt like this conversation was very boring.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
Alexander picks up the book from the small table.
Oh, yes, please, take that book. You have my most humble thanks for doing so, good sir.
Really? Thanks.
Alexander feels it. The table.
You're doing me such a big favor, just getting rid of that book, please.
Occasionally
just get it out here.
Sidelong glances at Alexander from under a concealing hood. For some inexplicable reason, Alexander feels compelled to avoid this hooded old man.
Good day, sir.
The mysterious old man just ignores Alexander. Alexander is a little old for those children's. A collection of children's books fill those shelves. These shelves hold a selection of cookbooks. Alexander isn't interested in the cookbooks on that shelf. He's had an aversion to cooking ever since he experimented with a certain cookie recipe involving cat hair and fish oil.
To be fair, it did, effectively save your life.
Yeah,
Assorted
it worked well.
travelogues and biographies are arranged on these shelves.
But on the other hand,
Right
he
now,
accidentally turned
Alexander
Banana
is
into
too
a cat.
involved with the journey he's on to take time to read about the journeys of others. These shelves hold a collection of oddly titled guidebooks. Alexander notices such books as How to Become King with Little or No Rupees Down, Finding the Right Girl with the Right Dowry, and Why Good Princesses Like Bad Wizards.
Oh, I know why good princesses like bad wizards.
I was gonna say, what do you know about
There's
that
a book
topic, Sua?
entitled The Changing Role of Court Entertainers Through the Ages on the small table in the reading area. It appears that some regular customer likes that book.
And we know who that
Then
is.
why don't they buy it?
Alexander feels...
God damn it, Alexander.
Alexander rests his feet for a moment. Alexander picks up and leafs idly through a book called The Changing Role of Court Entertainers Through the Ages. Well, that was refreshing.
Was it?
Was it, though?
How much for that book on the counter, merchant?
It is a fine book, is it not? I obtained it from the estate of the one and only magician this kingdom has ever had. Poofed himself into an aardvark in the end, or so I heard. I never found the spells all that useful myself, but then I lead a boring life. I tell you what, if you can find another rare book, something a bit more marketable, I might be willing to exchange the spelled book for it.
Sorry, I did not remember what that was.
An antique leather-bound book is displayed on a little stand on the counter. On the elaborate cover is the title, Ye Useful Book of Magic Spells.
When we played this for our private group before, that was aggravating because like it's a very minor element of the screen, but it's extremely important later.
It doesn't even look like a book. It looks like a rat. Like I cannot for the life of me see a book there.
It's just like in a stand and it's open, but I can definitely see the rat as well.
Oh, I see what you're... Yeah, no, I would not have known
Volumes
that
of
at all.
poetry are on display on this bookshelf. Thinking of Cassima, Alexander decides to leaf through one of the volumes of love poetry. He reads, Thy hair, thy lips, thy beauteous face, and all thy studied female grace have won for thee anon a place within this broken breast. Not bad. And another. Upon the shore the lilies bend, untouched by worldly care, where shadow they her earthly bed, oh, that she were not there. Yikes. And another. What was it when I looked at you? What power has chained me through and binds my heart with links so tight I cannot live without the sight of you?
I love that one.
What nameless thing has captured me and made me powerless to flee? What thing is it without a name that brings my mind e'er back the same to thee? The name of love cannot apply. Its commonness does not decry the haunted, hunted, painful cry that my heart makes for you, that e'er my soul eternal makes for you.
A little close to home, that one.
No,
Alexander returns the love poem book to the shelf.
That poem starts out so good, and then it gets insane at the end. And then he's like,
I know.
Oof, that's the one. That's the one. Like, no, sweetie, no.
Alexander is... A page has fallen from the poem book and now lies on the floor. Alexander picks up the fallen page.
The haunted.
It's the love poem he particularly
cry.
liked.
It's haunted,
It must have
hunted,
fallen out
painful
of the
cry.
poetry book.
I see that old volume has lost another page. You may keep it if you like, sir. I have glued the stubborn thing back in place 2 times already.
I do rather like it. Thank you, merchant.
I will say that the way that last poem is read is just... I love it so much.
The acting.
Yes, it's such a... I don't know if I would say an inspiration to me, but like, whenever I read anything that has that kind of gravity, my mind always goes back to that poem, and that particular read.
It's great.
Alexander reads the love poem. What was it when I looked at you? What power has chained me through and through?
Now look at that.
And binds my heart with links so tight I cannot live without the sight of you.
So in the book...
What nameless thing has captured me and made me powerless to flee? What thing is it without a name that brings my mind ever back the same to thee? The name of love cannot apply.
It's the whole thing.
Its commonness does not decry the haunted, hunted, painful cry that my heart makes for you, that ever my soul eternal makes for you.
Okay, holy shit. First of all, I have always thought that when he sends the poem to Cassima and when the page fell out, that it was just the first page. And I don't know if it's because I would skip it as a kid or something, so I only remembered that first, like that's the part I have memorized. So now I'm like, oh my god, we'll get there, but like, the whole thing, oh my god. But then power is spelled P-O-W''R when you read it in the book, but now it's P-O-W-E-R here.
Interesting.
And I always thought power, like that was a sort of interesting choice, but now I'm even more confused by that. But yeah, all right. Let me talk to this guy. So I keep saving because I'm gonna have to figure out which file I'm gonna commit to.
Good day, sir. I'm a stranger in this land. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
That is quite a question, young man. Who are you, and what would you have me tell you?
My name is Alexander. I know I'm on the Isle of the Crown, but I'd like to know whatever you can tell me about this island, and if there are other islands nearby.
Now I want to talk to him without
indeed a stranger.
anyone else.
Anxious is the man who knows not the customs of the land beneath his feet. This island is called the Isle of the Crown, because the royal family's castle is here. Besides the castle, we also have this village, and the docks over to the west. There are at least 3 other islands. The Isle of the Sacred Mountain, the Isle of the Beast, and the Isle of Wonder.
At least 3? Does no one know for certain?
This is no ordinary land, Alexander. The land of the Green Isles has always been a place of vague boundaries, as if islands come and go. Legend speaks of a 4th island, an isle shrouded in mists. I myself have never seen it. Then, too, the land of the Green Isles is said to exist on the boundaries of this world and the next. Even darker places are reputed to be closer here than anywhere else in the world.
That's quite a claim.
Claim, yes, but probably just local superstition. We who live here on the Isle of the Crown, at least, sleep well enough at night.
Those first 3 islands you mentioned, how might I learn more about them?
Ideally, a young man seeking such knowledge would travel to their shores and learn about them firsthand. Meeting the leaders of each place would be helpful, naturally. Unfortunately, the ferry no longer runs between the islands. There has been much political unrest, and it has been too dangerous to travel for years. Perhaps the ferryman can tell you more. He has little enough to do these days, and if you haven't been there already, you might seek an audience at the castle.
Thank you kindly, merchant, for all your good advice.
Ah, but advice is free, Alexander. Making use of it costs much more.
Okay, man. Young man should see the islands for himself and not die horribly in the process.
How fare you, merchant?
Sufficiently well, thank you, Alexander. My only wish is for more time to read.
You don't seem real busy right now to me.
I mean, there's like one person hanging out. No, and Alexander's like showed up to town, so like this is the busiest they've been in months.
Oops. Sorry, I thought I was replacing them. There's really no need to have all those. Okay, let's see. Boing?
Are you just wanting to see what happens when you talk to the shop owner first?
Yeah. Because he was like, I already know where I am, so I just want to see what he says.
Hello? Now.
Because, like, with the pawn shop owner, Alexander basically acted like he'd never heard of where he was yet.
Good day, merchant. Can you tell me what land this is?
Why, certainly. This is the Isle of the Crown, the main isle of the land of the Green Isles.
Thank the fates! I knew I was close when we sank, but I dared not hope. Tell me, how fares your Princess Cassima?
The princess? She is well enough, I suppose.
Is she near?
The castle of the Crown on the hill, sir. And good luck.
What can you tell me about the land of the Green...
That is a big question, young man.
Sorry,
Perhaps you will be so kind as to first tell me who you are and what exactly you want to know.
So the people in the back can
My
hear.
name is Alexander. You said that this is the Isle of the Crown, but I'd like to know whatever else you can tell me about this island, and if there are other islands nearby.
This island is called the Isle. There are
at least...
legends, then to...
That's... Those...
unfortunate, perhaps, and...
Thank you.
He didn't mention Daventry, did he? He just said, my name's Alexander.
No, he did not.
This is the...
Would you be interested in this ring?
It is a stunning ring.
Interesting.
But I do not deal with jewelry and personal effects. Books and hard gold are all I can handle. You might check with my neighbor next door, though. He deals in such things.
So he says Alexander here, but he didn't mention that he's a prince, but I suppose there's time to find out.
What happens? What happens if you leave here? Does the? Because I'm trying to remember how the genie.
I don't think it will get
out
triggered until I go do stuff with the fairy, then come to the pawn shop, and then the cutscene will happen.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Shut up.
Sorry, I'm jumping ahead a little bit.
No, I mean I
Want some rye?
Of course you do.
Want some lamps? Of course
Would
you
you
do.
be in?
It
The old man would not be.
No.
A plaque bearing a merchant crest hangs over the doorway. The bookshop owner must be proud of his credentials. Alexander is standing in a cozy little shop.
Oh my god, I forgot
Books
something.
of every size and shape line the walls. A crackling fire in the fireplace completes the tranquil scene.
I really do like the
small fire
foreground framing
burns in
here.
the fireplace,
Yes.
despite the warmth of the day outside. Perhaps the bookshop owner simply finds it comforting. And burn a perfectly good hand?
I love
Ah, to consume all our earthly possessions in flame.
What the
Very
That-
ominous.
that
Ah, to...
let's see.
Would you care for a mint, stranger?
give it to me. Yum.
I've never done that before. Oh my god.
Odd. The old man sways momentarily, but seems to quickly recover. That must be some strong mint. An old man...
Good day, sir.
The mysterious...
Oh, so he's sober again?
For some
Little taste of
Good day.
foresight on our part there.
Alexander... There's a young girl in the yard. The girl is dressed in a long, plain orange robe with a thick headdress. From the appearance of her clothes, and from a skittish, fearful look about her, Alexander gets the strong impression that she is a servant, or even worse, a slave. The serving girl appears to be stealing a quiet moment tending the rose bushes. The girl is too far. Looking at the serving girl reminds Alexander of the years he spent as a slave under the evil wizard Mananan. He wishes there was some way he could help her.
Excuse me?
She looks very shy and nervous as she tends her roses.
The evil wizard what?
Mananan.
You are vindicated, Rick.
I knew there was a reason why I thought it was Mananan.
The old woman's face, pinched with anger, could easily be mistaken for a prune. Her elaborate garments seemed to be an attempt to hide her nasty disposition.
You lazy thing! Get back to work and stay away from those roses! I've told you 1,000,000 times, those flowers are too sweet for the likes of you! You've still got to do the breakfast dishes, make lunch, and clean the stables yet this morning!
Yes,
Oh
stepmother.
shit, sorry.
There is no...
God damn it. No, I'm gonna give it to him anyway.
Would you...
Give it to me.
I'm just...
Yum.
That laugh is incredible.
Odd.
I know it doesn't give you any points, or at least I assume it doesn't, but I just like the idea of having done that on record.
Alexander takes a mint. Alexander doesn't... The girl is too... Alexander's voice is easily muffled by the woman's own nagging yells.
I've told you, and get your veil back on! No one wants to look at your face!
Yes, stepmother.
Alexander can't... Alexander... There is no... Alexander... Alexander...
Part of me wonders if, like, the stepmother was performed by Roberta in this situation, just because it's a very similar performance to the Harpies in 5.
Red roses beautifully cover the top of the house's fence and gate arbor. The entrance to the house is a time-worn wooden door. Alexander is standing on a dirt street leading through the village. To his right is a fine house with a private yard. The yard is surrounded by a gated fence and is full of red rose hedges. The street continues off to the northwest, from which direction Alexander can feel a light sea breeze.
I'm assuming that the rest of the village is like back there somewhere. Because there's only really one house here.
A pot, etched by the natural elements of the island, decorates the porch. The house is made of stucco in an architectural style native to the island. It is apparently quite old since climbing vines embrace its exterior. Alexander, palm tree, rocks, rock. Alexander,
Rocks.
The house is, the windows of the stucco house have neither glass nor curtains, allowing full entry to the warm sea breeze.
Hey, stranger, come join me. The water is wonderful, and I can show you the way to the next island.
A young boy is happily swimming in the sea off the docks.
He's got, like, nice
Good day.
big glinting
I'm
eyes,
Alexander.
so...
What are you doing in the sea?
What does it look like I'm doing? I'm swimming. I mean, come join me. The water's wonderful. I can show you the way to the next island. Come join me if you're brave enough. Come join me. Come on, jump in. A little water won't hurt you.
Alexander can't hand anything to the boy from here.
I guess you're gonna have to get into the water.
Alexander can't...
Let me read you a love poem.
Alexander...
What are you waiting for? I said I'd show you how to get to the next island, didn't I?
Oh, I didn't even click anything.
Strange. The young boy in the water just disappeared. Oh well, perhaps he just dove under the water.
Don't worry, I will do, but I just wanted to see what he says when we don't do anything at all.
Hey, stranger, come join me. The water is wonderful, and I can show you the way to the next island.
Considering the poor condition of the shore, it looks like the easiest way to get into the water is just to jump off the pier.
That's what I was trying to do, but... Oh, okay.
The powerful currents grab
I didn't
Alexander.
click anything.
Struggle as he might, he feels himself being pulled out to sea.
Not a very good swimmer, are you?
Help me!
Sorry, I think not.
See ya, sucker!
As his head submerges for the third time, Alexander finds himself pondering the wisdom of going out on a limb for a stranger.
Tickets only. Next.
Alexander couldn't handle those currents. That boy must be an unbelievably strong swimmer.